approaches are being taken to allow the pharma industry to overcome some of the challenges that they face in the field? Philip, let's start with you again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think in the past time, and I can really speak for more for Umicore, I would say it is really the opportunity to get in contact. Very trivial things are maybe the relevant one, or also the key changes, let's say, to open the discussion. And what I talked about, the cooperation and communication with academic partners on one side of the hand, it's with our customers the other way around, or that's the other part, of course, which is very important. And there, I think one of the important things is to enable, let's say, the quick screening of specific dominant technologies in cross-coupling, and that's only possible if you get really in touch and be in discussion with the projects directly. And to also discuss, let's say, the challenges the process chemists are currently facing, because there might be an opportunity, and Viktoria was telling that. So there may be some parts of technology which are a little bit more tricky at the moment, but maybe there are also other opportunities to think of. Or if you think maybe of you want to do, let's say, a two-step reaction and want to do two cross-coupling catalysis step, maybe in one pot, in one synthesis step, more or less. These are things which might be very efficient for pharma industry to save some costs there. And to get this, let's say, discussion, to enable this discussion, it's important to bring everything on the table. What is important, what is available, what are the specific opportunities and advantages of the technologies, and to really have, let's say, a very quick and transparent offering there. And all that should be combined also with the ideas of pharma process chemists, ideas which are there in the groups. Of course, people are also reviewing the literature there and also have their experience, but maybe they are looking for a catalyst which is completely not available in the market. And also that is a thing to discuss, because we definitely will have a look. Is that a thing which might be commercially achievable then also for the customer, for that project? Of course, if it's just an expensive technology and not, let's say, optimizing the reaction, then it's not a benefit for the customer in the end. But of course, if it really has an advantage, and let's say the costs are in the right area, then this should be a technology which can be implemented. And that's exactly the kind of discussion we are doing.
And then Nilay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that one of the challenges for industry is something that Viktoria alluded to earlier, which is there's so many different ligands and so many different pre-catalysts available that it's difficult to know where to start. And so just educating the community, and Philipp and Umicore are in a position to kind of provide advice about something like this, is very valuable, because you can easily get your head kind of caught up in a knot or spinning by looking at all the literature. And one of the points that we haven't made is that inherently there's no benefits to academics for publishing, to some extent, data which shows the performance of their pre-catalyst or their ligand against another ligand. It can upset people, it can create friction. And so there's a role for someone to kind of provide well-balanced, informative research on both when and when not to use different ligands and different pre-catalysts.
And then Viktoria, how about you?
Yeah, so I mean, when we are talking about approaches, how to overcome challenges in a certain reaction, particularly in the catalytic reaction, then I of course would always say, yeah, one has to design the catalyst. And I mean, this is exactly where our research comes into play. So we have developed the ylate substituted Y-phos ligands. So the special feature of these types of phosphine ligands is that they possess an ylate moiety directly bound to the phosphorus center. Of course, these phosphines are not the first phosphines developed, and I mean, coupling chemistry is strongly connected with the development of new phosphine ligands. So at the beginning, I would say rather simple phosphine ligands have been used, but often harsh reaction conditions were required. But with the development of new ligands, such as the Buchwald by aryl ligands, the protocols could be facilitated. It was possible to use a broader substrate scope and milder reaction conditions. And this is exactly where our ligands come into play. So I already said that the structure of our Y-phos ligands is unique because we have this ylid moiety directly bound to the phosphorus center. And this means that because we have this ylid, this means that we have a formal negative charge placed right next to the phosphorus center. And because of this architecture, the phosphine ligands become very electron-rich, so more electron-rich than normal phosphines, even electron-rich trialkyl phosphines. So they are now in the range in their donor properties like N-heterocyclic carbenes. And the benefit of these ligands is that since they are so electron-rich, they can easily do oxidative addition, so the activation of the electrophile that you're using in the cross-coupling reaction. And this is important because often oxidative addition is rate limiting, and this is particularly true if you start from aryl chlorides. So bromides and iodides have been used for quite a long time, but chlorides have already have been regarded as difficult substrates. So normally higher temperatures are necessary in order to efficiently transform them into the CCE or CN-CX coupling products. With the Y-phos ligands, we can normally do that also at room temperature because oxidative addition becomes now really facile. And this is, of course, important to overcome challenges in oxidative addition, so in the scope of the substrate. So if you want to use aryl chloride, so this is not now much easier to be done with the Y-phos ligands. But it's also important in terms of scope of reaction. So if you have, for example, if you want to couple your substrate, your aryl halide, with a highly reactive nucleophilic species, which might react also with the starting material, then of course it's beneficial if you can do fast oxidative addition. And just to give you an example, so I guess all of you might agree that organolithium reagents are really reactive nucleophiles. And the issue with these types of partners in coupling reaction is that these might directly react with the aryl chloride, but not in the intended way, but in side reactions. So if you, for example, you can do proto-dehalogenation and thus destroy the functional group information that you have. But if you're able to do quick oxidative addition, you can prevent the side reaction and can do the coupling reaction in the desired way, so also with reactive nucleophiles such as the organolithium species, for example. And so because, and just to conclude, because we have these highly electron-rich ligands now, we can do fast oxidative addition, so really easily convert aryl chlorides, but we can also go towards newer coupling reactions with really reactive nucleophiles.
Mm-hmm.